Hello, my name is Brant Hunt. Today is the second day of February 2021. And what I wanted to talk to you about is those who seek to control you, and they're everywhere. I mean, everywhere. There was one time, let's go back to probably 150 years ago. At one time, no one sought to seek to control others, that is, unless it was in slavery, that is. And what has transpired in the last 100 years, a little bit more, has changed radically the world we live in. And part of this idea is as simply as this I've gotten from is a lady that's written an ebook, and that ebook is anti-communitarianism movement or manifesto. Let me show you that right quick here. This is the book here that she wrote actually a few years back. I have actually posted a video. It talks about communitarianism and how it connects, how many of these organizations, especially Agenda 21, are all connected here. There's a there's an attack upon those who's seeking to be free in this country and other places in the free world. We're not free, but we want to be free. And its apparatus is all over us. It's in banking, it's in education, it's in religion. It is in all aspects of our lives as we're being attacked, not only frontal, but in the rear, from what we would call the right and left perspective. That is, I can't think of the military term, but anyway, the point simply is that what it is simply is they're seeking to control you in every aspect of your life is what they want. They see you as inferior, you see, and they see themselves superior. And what I'm trying to explain to you is that by this simply is that we are being fooled in thinking that things are getting better, or we're not even aware of what's really going on. We don't even know what's going on in our lives. Many things are taking place at a very fast pace, and it's all seeking to restrict your movements, restrict you from whatever you can do, restrict everything in your lives. We know that the money system that's based upon what we've had here, what we call fiat currency, which used to be based upon backing by silver or gold. It is no longer here in the United States. In fact, nowhere in the world it is actually protected. It's all fiat currency. And so fiat currency means simply is it has no support. It has no silver, no gold, no nothing. It's based upon your belief that it's good money. Well, that's the fairy tale, folks. And if you look around you now, it's very clear that there's an issue. And that issue is the inflation of the money here in America. That is, the money is not worth what it used to be. And it's nowhere near what it was when I was a teenager, when I made $2 or $3 an hour. You see, that $2 or $3 an hour was far more worth than probably $50 an hour almost today, because inflation has been going up ever since. The other point simply is you can look at the fact is that at one time gold was $25 to $35 an ounce, and has been over $2,000 an ounce. Should be a warning sign for those that realize simply is that there's a big problem here. Okay. So it's not only in the financial areas, it's also in the arenas of the educational arena, as they're training your kids to be more community oriented. No longer, it's out in the open. It's straight out in the open, you see. It's no longer about you being as an individual and you having what we would call control of your life. That is, you see, you're now going to be a servant. You see, you're going to work for the state. This is what this is all taking place. And students have no idea anymore because they don't teach history. They don't teach what was in the past. They can't connect it because they can't think anymore. Everybody's interested in getting the right answer, but they can't think on their own. You follow me? Most young people today cannot think on their own. And in fact, a lot of people who are in the middle ages can't think on their own, you see. So what is happening with what I call this communitarianism is a branch of simply is, and I've explained this in a couple of videos, in fact, more than a couple of videos, dealing with simply communism and capitalism coming together. This has been a plan for a long, long time. We know that in the Reagan administration, he pointed out that he would be doing these things like let the wall fall, that is in Berlin, and that the Soviet Union and all the Warsaw Pact countries fell. Well, that's true, but it was enduring simply as it was something that looked like something great happening when reality simply is it was the gradualism that was taking place in America to bring this country down, you see. Now, part of this whole thing with communitarianism is for you to no longer have your rights, you see. It's based upon human rights, but not individual rights. There's a big difference, folks. It's a big difference. You see, human rights is simply for those of the majority, you see. It's for only those who are playing the game, those who are going to be a part of the game. You follow me? Those who choose not to be a part of the system, that is opt out, don't want to be a part of this system, they're not going to be helped at all. They're going to be left stranded, you see. And that's their goal. And there's enormous pressure being put upon people today because now the inflationary rate is taking place. Many Americans, probably 35 to 40 million people are out of work, if not more. We don't even know what is the statistics, to be quite honest with you, because we know the government is lying about it, you see. So this is happening. So people are becoming more and more dependent. More and more people simply they are getting older. You see, there's older people essentially need help, and there's less and less people in the working jobs to provide that tax money. You see, do you follow what I'm saying? Social Security, which in reality, Social Security in itself is a mechanism to tell you simply is that you're too stupid to save your money. You follow? You're stupid. Let the government take care of it. You see, we'll do better with it. Instead, they take that money away from you when reality simply is those that wanted to be more independent in their lives could invest it in certain areas to help themselves instead of actually depending upon the government to help them. And we know this simply is that the Social Security deal is filled with IOUs, which means simply is there's no money there, you see. They're just going to keep printing it. And that's what they're doing. They're simply inflating money. And what that means simply is they're just producing more and more dollars. And so it's going to be worth less. I don't understand. This is the biggest attack upon people's economic futures. And the middle class is going to continue to shrink in this country. That's who they're after, because simply they want to destroy the middle class because simply everybody be poor, and they want you to be dependent upon government. And once you're dependent upon government, you lose your, what I would call the ability to be free. So part of this whole thing is with what she was speaking about. And I'm going to show you some things here when I'm going to share some screens with you. These are organizations like this particular guy I'm going to talk to you about is, here he's him right here. We can find him. Like this organization, right? This guy right here. This is John McKnight. John McKnight is involved heavily in what I would call looking out for himself, you see. And you look at all these pretty little words, a great community creates conditions where people can fall in love. Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. It is a place where we can make a fuss about one another, a place where we can ask, wait a minute, we already had that a long time ago. You see, this is what we would call a utopian dream. And that's all it is. It's actually a dystopian. It's going to ruin everyone, and they themselves are going to be at the top, and you and me are going to be at the bottom. You follow what I'm saying? So these are people who have worked in government. And for example, let's ask another question here. Do you ever see anybody who gets laid off by the government? Do you? Do you see anybody who gets laid off by the government? I don't see people losing their jobs in government. You follow me? You see what I'm saying? There's people that are in the government for themselves. They're there to get a piece of the pie. And they're really actually the enemy. They're your enemy. They think they're doing good, and most are not doing good. They're actually destroying your lives. And so we look at another organization here. Most of you are probably aware of this organization, but it's key that you understand these organizations can't do anything unless they have people actually believing in their system. You see, like Bill and Melinda Gates here, $46.8 billion in asset. We don't even know if that's true. That was based upon probably in 2000, what I understand. But actually, I'm wrong. It's actually 2018. But this is their whole epitome. They see you as inferior. You got to understand that. You need to understand they see you inferior, but they have to have employees. So we look at here, he's got roughly about 1,500 employees working for his organization. And they're also what I call volunteers who believe in his system too, because they think it's this giving organization. They're going to help mankind out. You see, they're going to help the poor people. You see, it's a philanthropy. It's a lie, and it's to fool you. They dangle you a carrot in front of your eyes. You see, they dangle that carrot, but there's a catch. There's a string attached, and you're no longer free to make your own decisions. They will make the decisions for you, you see. You follow me? So again, they see you as inferior. And with that, meaning simply is they see themselves as superior. And so many people are being pulled and fooled by this. You see, they are being they think this is a rainbow at the end of the a rainbow at the end of what I was saying, the path we're on, and that government's going to take care of us. Well, it's not government anymore, folks. It's what we call public-private organizations. Let me get to that. I'll show you that here. There is what I call NGOs. So this is what it is. Let me just show you this. This is based upon Wikipedia, and it's based upon public and private sectors. And what people don't understand about this whole organization, with the money being given by private organizations, is that in the future, see, the government doesn't have the money anymore, or does have the money, but the point simply is they don't want to continue to tax people. So these private organizations, these think tanks, these what I would call 501(c)(3) organizations, which are not taxed at all, give this money to their organizations. It's the same thing with the Rockefeller Foundation. When he did what he did, he's thought better than everybody else, as though he was superior. And we'll see here that Gavin Newsom, who was the former governor of California, is now in charge of a particular organization here with a just part of another private-public organization. You see? And they have goals here. You see, there's sustainable 17 here. Partnership for goals. See, they've got goals that they want to control you. They want to eventually control the land. They want to have control of technology. They want to have the ability to do whatever they want to do. And they will eliminate what we call any type of competition. See, it's all to benefit the big boys. It won't be for the small people at all. It would be all for them so they can actually control everything. That's where it's leading to. You see, that's why like I see here, when I drove on the other side of town the other day, and I didn't even realize it, but there's a grocery store that's now closed on the south side of Aiken. And it's a grocery store. It's called Bilo, and it's gone. It's completely gone. And there is another one on the north side of Aiken, but it's been bought by another company. So there used to be two Bilos in Aiken, and now there are not any. You see, there's somebody else that's come in and bought that grocery store and started another chain, a small chain. So this is give you an idea of what is going on. You see, there's less and less competition. There's less and less grocery stores now. There's less and less competition on all areas of what's taking place, which means that eventually there won't be any competition. You see? So this is all, I know you need to wrap your head around these things and understand what's going on here, because you're being conned and you're being fooled. And they're leading you by a noose eventually to destroy you. That's what their whole idea is. There's an organization here in South Carolina called COG, and it's called Council of Governments. And what that organization does is simply they're involved with what I call helping people that are older. You see, well, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? But you see, it's always tied with strings. See, when the government was giving money, helping these organizations, they had what we call a protocol. They had rules and what they would do and cannot do. You see, because government was responsible to the citizens here. But you see, that's no longer. You see, this is gradually going to change. And they'll just simply say, well, old Joe over here, he's 80 years old. We've already put $40,000 in him, and we're just going to let him die. You see, the medical part. It's all controlled by corporations. All the hospitals here, almost in all America, is now corporations. There are a few that are run by what we call religious foundations or groups. But the county hospitals are all gone. So they're all run by corporations. And the corporations are not going to do the things only for profit. Do you see the road you're on? I know these things sound distressing, but the truth is simply you need to know these things and be aware of it. And so let's go in another area here as I let's see what we're going to do. Share another screen here for you. And what I want to show you something else is that, here it is. Let's see. This goes on a lot in Europe. I hear them all the time. I listen to Radio Romania. I listen to sometimes radio's Voice of I'm trying to think of the name. BBC talks about it. RFI, Radio France International, and others. They're talking about NGOs. They talk about it all the time, and I'm like, what is an NGO? When I used to listen to shortwave, but I still do. But what is an NGO? It's a non-governmental organization, or a non-government organization, together. It's what they call NGOs. And they say how they're founded. They say they're founded by a subgroup or organization founded by citizens. Well, what citizens? Well, it has to be, they're nonprofit. You see, this is the great thing most people aren't seeing here is they're going to want control of your whole life. And they're going to tell you what you can eat and what you can't eat. They're going to tell you if you're overweight, then you're going to you won't get such and such type of benefits, medical benefits. And people are fooled by this because they think, I'm not overweight. But see, this is the point simply is enormous control being used, apparatus to actually control your whole life. very few people understand. Very few. I don't know if there's, 2,000 or 3,000 people in this country that know this. And most of them are getting older. And you'll see here simply is that one of the NGOs is the World Economic Forum, located in Switzerland. You know the guy, Klaus Schwab. These guys see themselves superior to you. Do you understand that? You must understand simply is that they see themselves as superior to you. They see you as basically like a cockroach. They see you as inferior. And the problem with these people, these are nut jobs. These people want to destroy the world. That is, destroy the world for me and you. And so what they do, they come out with these clever wording things, which they hire people, these quote unquote brilliant people, they think, and these brilliant people are caught up in their own ego as though they're superior to everyone. And so they get used and they have no idea, because what happens simply is that there are other people here that are brilliant, and they only talk about one or two people supposedly or whatever working on the scheme, when there are actually maybe 20 people working on the scheme. So no one knows what really is going on, because they're all divided, kept in what do we call a cage, not a cage, but their ideas are not shared together. They're eventually put together later on. A lot of their ideas come from George Hegel, you see. But I'm just showing you some things here. Just want to show you this part here about him. But these people are not powerful only because they have money. But the problem is simply is this. People follow these people because, oh, they're successful. It means they're good people. They must be good. That's the reasoning system. They must be good, you see. All the things to do with gender. It used to, when I went to high school or even college, they didn't ask you what your gender was. See, this was a word created. You see how they create these words to promote their agenda. It's no longer male and female, you see. They also have your idea simply is there's just too many people living on this planet. That's bull crap, folks. It's all bull crap. And so what they do is they want you to stop having children. You follow me? See, they think there are too many people, when reality simply is it has nothing to do with that, folks. It has nothing to do with too many people here. It is them that create the problem because they have control of all the farming apparatus. You follow me? So when they own all these industrial farms, they control it all, and they charge whatever they want to charge eventually. I doubt there are 8 or 10 corporations left on the world, the planet, that actually are involved in food. Cargill's one of them. I can't think of the other one here in America. There's just 2 of them now. ADM's the other one. So there are two of them. That's the 2 major ones. All these things, quote unquote, supposed to be great, helping us out, such and such. But there's always them that benefit. It's always, see, Donald Trump here, located, joining the initiative. All these biodiversity things, all these things about you polluting the planet. You don't pollute the planet, folks. Do you hear me? You don't pollute the planet. They are what we're calling is using a blame, a shame, and guilt tripping you as though you're some bad person. When one time we had what we call glass containers here in America. And what I mean by that simply is we have this. This is a glass container. It's made of glass. The whole idea simply is in the past was things with putting glass. The reason why simply is it was recycled. Many times simply that we would have Cokes, drinks, whatever you want to call it, they would have made of glass. They would recycle them. You take them to the grocery store and they would take them, and then the bottler companies, there was a bottling company here in Aiken, and they would clean those bottles with hot water or whatever they did to have to clean them, and they put another drink in them. And all it did was put a new top on the top of them. Now you talk about saving money, that was probably more efficient, but they make them now, guess what? For convenience, you see. So you have a plastic bottle now, you see. And then what happens simply is that people, as they would blame, simply is, oh, let's just throw it out in the jungle here or whatever, throw it out in the woods or whatever, you see. And so they blame it on you. See, they take away the responsibility you're supposed to have for your own planet here, folks. They're using you a way to make you what I would call what I would call simply as being like a child, not being mature, not taking responsibility. And when you were responsible, simply you take care of those things. You know, we used to have what we call, for lack of better, this is just an example, you have book covers. So we didn't have brand new books every year in school. There would be book covers to protect the outer part, what they call a book cover. And it was made of paper. It was from, you know what it came from? Your grocery bags at your grocery store. You see, most of this go to the paper, the forest products, such and such. I have a friend who lives out in Portland, and she told me this, and she shared this to me. She said, guess what, Brent? They're still selling tons and tons of forest trees, but it's no longer going to us. It's going to foreigners. See, they're still cutting down trees. See, they're using the great ideas, these public commercials and everything. Oh, we're trying to save the planet. That's all bullshit, folks. It's all bullshit. They're lying to you. They had this good, what Rockefeller did was he did a public deal. You remember the picture of him? He gives a dime to a child. That's what they're doing to you. See, I have billions of dollars, but here's a dime for you, sucker. Here's a dime. That's what they do to you. And so what happens simply is you think, oh, these are great people, when all they are is they're philanthropists. You see, they just wrote it off and said, oh, see, this is what they did. That's why they got involved in the medical community. Rockefeller got involved in it. Rockefeller got in the chemical deals, you see. That's why he got into pharmaceuticals, because he could create a product that came from nature and do it man-made. And he could make money off of it, because, see, you couldn't make anything off of it. It was nature, because there wouldn't be a patent on it. These people are clever, and they're also doing terrible things to the planet. But they have the audacity to say to you, you're a bad person. You're really bad. But they're the ones that invent these products. Like you go to McDonald's, used to have those foam things you put Big Macs in, all that kind of stuff. Well, it's chemicals. It's a plastic, some type of chemicals based on oil base. There was a company here in Aiken County called Amoco Plastics. Amoco was an American oil company, and they had a plant here producing that foam to create containers to put your burger in. And it was what McDonald's bought. See, they bought these things millions of times, tons and tons of them, millions of copies of these things. Yet they're not like paper that will eventually dispose. They're chemicals. See, there's an oil-based chemical in there that actually is involved. So it's not going to break down naturally. See, this is about money, folks. This is about them having control. And so they don't care about the planet. All they care is about profit. And so let me share another thing here with you. As I continue to share here, trying to enlighten you and what's going on. See, we talked about non-Judeos. See, here we go. On here. There must be right there. I think I did that one. I might have already done that. I may have done that one. Yeah, no, well, let's see. Yeah, this is NGOs here. Non-government. Okay, I've done the NGOs. I haven't done the think tanks. That's the one I'm trying to find here. Let's see. Let's see, where is it at here? NGO government. Let's see. Just bear with me a second here. I'll try to find it. And the think tanks are in a different area. They are what I would call dealing with what I would call simply is dealing with foreign policy. I thought I pulled it up, but I didn't. For some reason, I did not. So I have to cancel that. But what they do simply is a think tank is all these organizations. And they are controlling policy. And they've been around for a long time themselves, too. For probably 100, 150 dollars. Mainly when the corporations began to get involved. This is where all of it started. After the United States, the Civil War took place, the war between the states. What took place was that everything began to go. In fact, they eventually created a law that even corporations are persons. And that's when they begin to use you as a person also. So what it says is simply is a policy, research, engineering, performance research, advocacy, such as social policy, political strategy, economics, military, technology, and cultural. They're also non-government organizations, you see. So we have think tanks like RAND Corporation. We have places like, well, we have the Fabian Society. You see that? This is that, which is a book I have here is about them. You know, there are many out there that think Shaw is such a great person. They actually put him on a pedestal. He's fooled so many people. You see, but this is one that was involved social science, socialistic science societies. These, you can look at them here. There are all these organizations. You see, one of them is such and such the Labour Party, part in the UK. I don't know a whole lot about UK, but you have all these things, organizations that are involved here, you see, and there's money. You see, there are only 8,000 members here. And they have, the Young Fabians, you have the Fabians Women Network, they have the Scottish Fabians and the other, and around 60 so Fabians. So they're involved here. And it's always progressive, folks, always progressive. They're always that way. They always want to change things, you see. And this is some of the leaders in the past. And the wolf in sheep clothing, that's what they do, folks. They pretend to be sheep and they're wolves. And they fool you. But this is, like I said, you have the Heritage Foundation here in America is one of the organizations, which is a conservative think tank. You have Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. When reality simply is just the opposite. It's not about peace. It's always about for them. You have the Brookings Institute. You see, all these organizations are having enormous impact upon government now and have been for a long, long time. And we go back to Woodrow Wilson, and we have Colonel House, who is the one who actually involved in his life. But Colonel House was simply he just was an agent for these people, for the bankers, you see. And not just the bankers, but also other organizations that were involved in promoting their ideas because simply as they know better, because simply as they ran all over people. You see, they are the ones who see themselves as superior when in reality they're not, because they destroy things. They not only destroy nature, they destroy people. And that should be another red flag for people out there to understand simply is they destroy people. They destroy their lives because simply is they make them dependent upon jobs, then eventually they're going to leave. They don't care. Whatever way they can save money, they'll do it. You see, it's all about the corporation. But anyway, I wanted to just share these things with you. I think it's valid to look at these things. And I'm always pointing out to you. We must understand this. They are the ones who are seeking out us to destroy us. And so with that type of attitude, we must understand simply is we don't give our power to them. And how do we do that, Brent? We don't vote. We don't give our energy to others. They're politicians simply working for corporations. That's all they are. When you look at the money that's given to them, it's all corporate. It's all corporations, folks. Very little of it comes from the public. Very little. And then when the people do give, they're fooled. They think they're getting somebody, when in reality simply is that it wasn't. For example, let's go back in 2008. If you can think that far back, I hope so. Ron Paul ran for the president of the United States. He was not a lawyer, but he was part of the Eastern Star. So he was part of a Mason deal. Most people don't know that. But Ron Paul probably won most of the primary elections here in the United States, but they were stolen from him. You see, they were not going. They were not going to allow him to be in office. You see, and this is the sad part. Simply is that, and I don't vote for these people. That was the last time I actually voted in an election. So it's been over 12 years now that I have not actually voted. And actually, I've actually taken my name off the list. So my name, if it comes up, is that I'm not registered to vote. And I don't want to vote. And how do you deal with this apparatus simply is that they are putting upon us? Because people are going to go one way or the other. And that's part of this whole idea is simply to keep people in the right and left paradigm. It's just that's part of, and it's also, if you look at astrology, simply is to do with the masculine, solar, and the feminine, the feminine, the moon. And so my idea simply is you don't give them energy. You actually, in a lot of ways, begin to see that I'm going to create my world. I'm going to create what I want, because that's what we are. We are creators. We have that power. That's the reason why they're after us. They're after us because we have creative power. You've been told that you're inferior when in reality you're actually far greater than they are. But you've been lied to all your life thinking that you're inferior, when in reality you are not inferior to them. There are a few of them, and that's why they have to have the media. They have to use fear. They have to use guilt. They have to use blame and shame to keep you in a way from you not creating what world you want. And so what we do simply is we look at what they're doing and we say, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want in my life. My life is not going to be that way. I'm not going to participate in your crapshoot here, because this is the destruction of mankind, and I'm not a part of this, and I won't be a part of this. Many people buy into simply things like, for example, like I said, Social Security, but there's also things simply as, Medicaid and Medicare. I don't have Medicaid or Medicare. I don't want it. I don't have Social Security either. You know why? Because I know simply it's the wrong thing to do. You see, most people won't do that because simply it's easier to take it. But I don't want it. I have to take responsibility for my own body. I have to take responsibility and love myself. And if I don't do that, then if I know that, why would I actually choose to be a part of their whole situation? Why would I? Makes no sense. I want to be truly free. I want natural law. We don't need all these lawyers. We don't need them. You see, this is all this apparatus. This is this whole apparatus all around us. It makes us feel like we're in a prison. You see, they create all these laws. You can't do this. You can't do that. You know, you have to be married. You have to have a license to drive. You have to have a license to get married. You have to have license to be in business. If you're a plumber or a carpenter, you have to join some type of fraternity group or be a part of their deal. Is simply, oh, yeah, well, you have to be licensed. So you have to be licensed. You see it all over their trucks, you know. What happened to the day simply is that those who did a good job would have a good reputation. Those who were plumbers, who were good plumbers, had a good reputation. Those who were good carpenters that Joe knew over here or Bob over here knew, you see, their reputation was the key. It wasn't their license number. And they tell us simply, oh, well, you have to get, you know, you want to get together, you got to get married, you see, because they're going to charge you a fee. You got to make it official. You know, you got to put it on paper. No, paper is not the real world, folks. Paper is not eternal. You are, but paper isn't. So I hope that what I've shared with you today will help you to understand some of the things that are going on. There's a whole lot of things going on. You know, I stress this so much. I keep nailing it. Get out of debt. Don't be involved with debt. Don't be in credit card debt. You know, take care of yourself. Be responsible. For God's sake, be responsible. Because there are not going to be any jobs in the future, folks. They're not. There's just not going to be a lot of jobs here. And the whole idea simply is they're going to do the same thing that they did to Europe. Here, they're going to bring people into this country to take whatever jobs are left here that basically they can pay a nickel on a dollar. So there won't be any jobs for those who are older, who want to work or try to make it. So they're putting the vice to you. That's what they're doing. They're making the money worth less, and they are paying you less because the money is inferior if you have a job. And so I'm hopefully that some of us who are of the right spirit, that we can help others. That's my plan in the future. I have other ideas. I have plenty of ideas. The key is simply is that there are very few that wants to do this, which is sad. Very few that want to do good. That's what I run into most of the time. But that doesn't deter me. I'm going to still do what's right. You see, right is might. Doing the right thing is might. It's not the other way around. It's not might that makes right. No, that's what they tell you. That's what they tell you all the time in school. Oh, might. That's why you see the bigger boys, such and such, pick on the little boys or whatever. You see that. You see. The problem is simply is the bigger boy eventually runs into another person who's bigger than he is, and so he's the little boy. You know, they don't learn anything in life. You see. But anyway, I appreciate you watching, and I would appreciate some comments sometime, knowing that this is getting out to others. And thank you very much. And you have a great day. Take care.